It all started just before dawn, when I was walking back from checking the solar water pump. I was ready to have my morning coffee and relax, but what I saw as I walked up to my ranch house stopped me dead in my tracks. A tall, white metal fence stretched across my gate, blocking access to my land. Bold red letters across the fence read, "Property line HOA restricted access." I was frozen, unable to comprehend what was happening. Not only had the HOA blocked my main entrance, but they also parked two rental construction trucks sideways, completely trapping me in. My heart was pounding as I stood there in disbelief. This was my property, my land, and yet here it was fenced in by people who had no right to be there. As I looked closer, a small sign zip-tied to the fence flapped in the early morning breeze. It read, "HOA ordered closure due to noncompliance. Gate blocked until further notice." I could feel the heat rising in my chest. My mind was racing. I didn't remember signing up for an HOA. I knew my ranch wasn't part of their subdivision. It sat on its own private parcel, surrounded by open land and a few small creeks. The nearest HOA was miles away, and suddenly, here they were, encroaching on my land. What the hell was going on? I pulled out my phone, called the sheriff. The deputy who answered was patient enough. "We've had a couple complaints from that HOA recently," he said. "They say you've been violating community standards, but legally, they have no authority over your land. They're still blocking access, though, which is trespassing. Can you send someone out here?" I asked. "We'll send a unit, but be patient. We're stretched thin tonight," he said. I hung up, pacing around the gravel road, fists clenched. That's when I noticed something else. Down the road, there was a white SUV parked just beyond my property line. The vehicle had the HOA logo printed on its side, and inside, I saw Cindy, the HOA president, sipping coffee from her reusable mug. She looked like she had just won the lottery, sitting there in her warm car, grinning at my misfortune. I had met Cindy once at a town meeting. She introduced herself as the HOA president for Willow Estates, a fancy subdivision a few miles down the road. I marched toward her, boots crunching over the gravel. Before I could even speak, she rolled down her window and flashed that sugary smile of hers. "Morning," she said, acting like everything was perfectly normal. "Don't worry, we've issued a temporary restriction while we sort this out. It's for your own safety." I blinked, stunned. "My own safety? You just fenced in my land." "You'll thank us later," she said cheerfully. "The board voted unanimously. Your fence doesn't match neighborhood guidelines, and we've received numerous complaints about the signage you put up last week. The metal eagle statue over your gate? Very aggressive." I couldn't believe what I was hearing. "Lady, this isn't your neighborhood. This is my ranch. It's private property." She shrugged. "Well, the road leading to your ranch technically overlaps our jurisdiction now. We had it rezoned with the county last month. Voted on it. I sent the notice to your old address." She paused, her tone so sweet it made my skin crawl. "You can't just zone me into your HOA." "Oh, we can," she said, smirking. "It was in the fine print of that county road maintenance proposal you voted against. You should have read it more closely." Before I could respond, she rolled up her window and started texting on her phone like I wasn't even there. I stood there, seething with anger, looking back at the ridiculous fence blocking my gate. That was it. This wasn't just a little inconvenience, Anna Maria, it was war. I made a decision right then that would change everything. I was going to get revenge, and I was going to own the very road they used to control me. Let me take you back to where it all began. It was a quiet September morning when I first noticed something odd. After retiring from my job in Denver, I had moved back to the ranch full-time. It had been in my family for generations, built by my grandfather, passed down to my father, and eventually left to me. After 30 years in tech, I was ready for peace. Horses, open skies, a little garden, and a fishing pond. But peace didn't last long. One morning, I saw a group of people walking along the dirt road that curved toward my gate. They were measuring things with long sticks, spray painting symbols onto the gravel. I waved from the porch. "You folks lost," I called out. A tall man in khakis and a polo shirt looked up. "Oh no, sir. We're with the HOA board for Willow Estates. Just doing some survey work for a new speed bump project." "Speed bump? This is a private road," I said, frowning. He smiled politely. "Actually, the board's working with the county to adopt this stretch of road for maintenance. Your end of the road intersects with Willow Loop. If this goes through, you'll finally get your potholes fixed." I didn't like the sound of it. "It's voluntary," they say, "and will reduce your taxes." I told them I wasn't interested. A week later, I got a letter in the Mila notice about the road adoption proposal. It was full of legal jargon and fine print, and like a fool, I ignored it. That was my first mistake. Another letter came, then another from the county. By the time I realized what was going on, the vote had already happened. The board had officially adopted the road, and now it was under the HOA's control. They wanted my gate taken down, my fence repainted, and my dog kept inside after 7 p.m. I refused, and that's when the fine started. The notices, the warnings, and then they went ahead and put up that fence. The morning they fenced off my gate was the last straw. I couldn't believe it. It was personal now. That's when I decided to do something bold. The next day, I called my old friend Ray, who used to work in municipal land records. I asked him if it was possible to buy the road. "You serious?" he asked, laughing. "You want to buy the whole street?" "Yeah," I said, my voice steady. "I want to own it, from the county line to the start of Willow Estates. I want it under my name, and I want to charge them every time they use it." Ray was all in. "Well, it's going to take money and strategy, but I'll help. I know the ropes." We filed paperwork, met with county officials, and after some persistence and a little help from Ray's retired commissioner friend, we made it to the final hearing. Of course, Cindy and the HOA board found out about it. They showed up at the hearing with a lawyer and a presentation, trying to discredit me. Cindy wore a blazer and pearls, acting like she was defending the neighborhood from a terrorist. "This man refuses to cooperate," she said. "He's a danger to community harmony." When the county clerk read the final decision, my heart nearly stopped. Ownership of County Road 19B will be transferred to Mr. Thomas Granger, pending payment and agreement to maintain road conditions year-round. I couldn't believe it. I had won. A week later, Cindy got a certified letter from me. It said, "As the new owner of Road 19B, I'm informing you of a new road access agreement. All HOA vehicles must pay a monthly road usage fee, effective immediately." And yes, I tripled their HOA dues in one strike. Guess who was now stuck holding meetings about unfair street tolls? But just when I thought I had the upper hand, something crazier happened. One night, I heard tires screeching outside. I ran out with a flashlight just in time to see a backhoe tearing down a road sign I had put up. And there was Cindy, standing with her HOA crew, digging a trench across the road. The backhoe roared as it dug into the gravel, and dust flew everywhere. Cindy was grinning, arms crossed, like she was some VY lane from a bad MOVIE. "What do you think you're doing?" I yelled over the noise. "Road repairs," she shouted back. "We noticed erosion and decided to act quickly." "No risk." "You're creating the risk," I snapped. "This is my road now." She smirked. "Your ownership is under VYEW. We filed an injunction. It'll be in court next month." I couldn't believe the gall. They were literally destroying my road while they waited for their court case. I grabbed my phone and started filming everything. I filmed Cindy's smug face, the construction crew, and the freshly torn-up gravel. "You're trespassing," I said into the camera. "You're destroying private property, and I'm sending this to the sheriff." As luck would have it, Officer Pete showed up just in time. He saw the damage, and the backhoe had hit a water pipe, flooding the road and soaking Cindy's designer shoes. It was glorious. Pete stepped out of his car, shook his head, and said, "You've got no jurisdiction here anymore. This road belongs to Mr. Granger." I could see Cindy's face flush red as Pete made them shut off the equipment and leave. She tried to argue, But it was over. They had caused overdue lot 10,000 in damages to my property. But the escalation didn't stop there. Cindy and the HOA weren't backing down, and things were getting personal. But they had no idea what they were up against. This wasn't just about a gate or a toll road anymore. This was about freedom. This was about standing up for what's right. And no matter how hard they pushed, I wasn't going anywhere. What do you think? Did I go too far, or was this a necessary stand against HOA overreach? Drop a comment below and share your thoughts. Let's talk about property rights and the power of standing your ground. And if you want to hear more wild stories like this, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. You never know what's coming next.